What up? 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 Whatever. All right, I'm in a whatever phase right now. What up to whatever, man? It's my Lakers, man. It's been rough. It's been rough. But anyway, we are here because we got a show to do. We got a job to do, and we're gonna be on our job. We're gonna be on our post. It's the Brooklyn Beards and Balls Sports Show. And we are in the building once again with another ep. We're getting ready to launch into these game threes of these Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, a lot of great basketball to talk. But before we get into it, I need you to smash the like button, okay? And please like. That helps with the algorithms, guys. We really appreciate it. The comments, all the love that you guys have been giving us to the reels and all the snippets and the shorts and everything we've been throwing out there, man. We really appreciate the content. The numbers are growing. Thank y'all so much for supporting the show. So we're just looking for continued support. And we really appreciate it, man. So with that said, yo, D, what's going on with you, man?
How you been, man, bro? It's beautiful. Yeah. It is a fantastic day. I am so excited about this show, man. Listen,
yeah, I know you are.
The timing couldn't be better, right?
Yeah.
You guys are back in LA, so it should be exciting. It should be exciting. It should be a really good show. We're going to talk about a little bit about playoff Jimmy, how he's he's amazing. We're going to talk about, some of Mike Malone's comments about, you guys putting some respect on. We're going to talk about it.
That. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, Lakers and Nuggets. This has been a very, very good series so far.
It's good basketball.
Now, for Laker fans, it's going to be interesting because you have to keep in mind that the first game, Anthony Davis had a dominant performance, right? 40 points, 10 rebounds. LeBron James almost had a triple-double, and they lost. And so, okay, of course, Jokic had a really good game, as expected, right? Jamal Murray had a good game. They both played well. They dominated for 3 quarters, and the Lakers came back. They were up, down as much as 21 points. They came back, made it a respectable game, but yet they lost. Denver figured out how to hold off the Lakers, come back, and they ultimately won the game. Rui Hachimura played defense on Jokic in the fourth quarter and allowed AD to roam, right? So it's like, oh, we got something. At the end, after the press conference, Darvin Ham, we'll be better. And he gets up and he just leaps. Okay, cool. Fast forward to game 2, Anthony Davis, right on cue, has his normal pedestrian type game where, his rebounds were good, but from 40, you have 18 points. Unacceptable. LeBron James almost had a triple-double, but he was, if I had to put blame on why the Lakers lost, it was LeBron. Listen, we know that shooters shoot, right? But LeBron is not a shooter. He's not a three-point shooter. And if he understands that, but see, there is the problem when you have a superstar on your team and a coach that doesn't feel confident enough to call it like he sees it. Like LeBron, you had great success driving to the hole. Why would you continue to shoot 3-pointers? And he was shooting them when they really didn't need them. Because it wasn't like the game, like, hey, we got to try to do this to get back in the game. Let's launch up some threes. You should have let some of the other shooters that were actually hitting threes go get more shots. But once again, LeBron, he shot the team out of the victory. And so they go down 0-2 heading back to LA. I don't know if LA, if it's a matter of Denver just having their number, because, Rui had a good game. Really, in game 2, if Rui didn't play the way he did, it would have been another blowout. And I think this time it was sustainable. So it's pretty interesting how it's going to turn out. Normally, LeBron James teams, before I pass it to you, a team, I don't know what the record is, with teams that are down 0-2. I think there's only been 6 times where a team has come back, and LeBron was on 2 of those teams that came back from 0-2. But this is a must-win today. If they lose today, it is a wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Denver in 5. If they lose today, it will be Denver in 5. But what do you say?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, as they say, every game is a must-win in the playoffs, obviously, but this is a must, okay? Because we go down 0-3, it's a wrap. I think it's probably a sweep at that point. I don't think the Lakers will have enough in them to overcome a 0-3 deficit. So when you look at a couple things, no, everything you said was on point. It was on point. And how I look at this series is more about what the Lakers are not doing than it is, and it's also about what they are doing, than it is anything that Denver is doing. Because Denver is not doing anything to really stop the Lakers. If the Lakers would just understand that it's an elephant against an ant, they will then prevail. And to your point with LeBron, who shot us out of game 2, no question about it. Those 3 straight threes he took, that's all fatigue. That's all that was. And my thing is what Ham has to do with LeBron is say, look, LeBron, you don't have to pull those threes. If you feel like you're tired because you don't feel like driving down to the hoop again and getting banged up on and that kind of thing, then you give it to Reeves. You give it to Schroeder. Let them run the pick and rolls for you. You got other ball handlers. This is not Cleveland of old. This is not Miami. You can actually have other guys, which we do have, that can also play on the ball and give you time to rest off the ball, even if it's for a possession or 2. You don't have to jack up threes. Nobody asks them that question. I don't understand why every press conference, with all looking goofy with all these clothes on, why no one gets up and say, hey, LeBron, what was your mindset in shooting those threes? When clearly, you are still at 38, 20 years in the league, better than anyone driving to the basket. I don't care how young, how big, how bulky, Aaron Gordon, none of those guys will ever in their lives stop LeBron James. I don't care if LeBron is 49. They're still not going to stop him coming down the middle of the lane. Nobody prevails against LeBron when he's on the inside. He can either make things. He's Jokic. He was Jokic before there was a Jokic, okay? Jokic just gets a lot of the credit for being that because he's a big man. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a skill set that's not often seen. But again, like Magic Johnson was at 6'9" as a point guard, unprecedented. LeBron at the power forward, point power forward, able to facilitate, do all the things that he can do and still score in the middle. Again, that's not a lot of guys that have that ability, okay? Like Draymond can do that, but he can't score, right? So there's limitations to guys that can actually do what the things that LeBron does, and he just doesn't get it. And I don't understand why that is. And I'm going to say this other thing too, with AD. AD actually isn't playing bad. Now, because a lot of shots that he had, they just didn't fall. And Jokic did nothing. Jokic, I don't care what anybody say. We know he can't play defense and he cannot hold AD. AD was missing shots that he just normally hit. The same shots that he was getting in game 1, the little hooks, the little floaters, the little 12-foot, kind of like your free throw line shots. Those were shots that were they were water, dropping like water in game 1. Game 2, they just didn't fall. Okay, but he's still neutralizing on defense. Why do we say that? Because again, Jokic is not scoring. Well, I'm gonna get to why Jokic ain't scoring in the 4th quarter. But again, the Lakers are still neutralizing and playing great defense. Denver is not getting off the way that they're used to. When you look at the shots that Jamal Murray hit in that 4th quarter, that was just shots that at the end of the day, all contested. You got to just give it to him. It was just a simple situation. Jamal just being hot. There was nothing you could do. He did all the scoring with the exception of a Porter 3. I think he hit a couple of threes. I think Brown hit 1. Outside of that, that was it. It was all about what Murray did. And they were all tough, contested 27-footers, okay? So it is what it is. You'll live with it. But again, the Lakers are just not doing what they're supposed to do offensively. That's the problem what it comes down to. When AD hit that 3-point shot, he had the opportunity. He takes another one. Why? What do you think you're in the zone? What you doing a Klay Thompson test? What are you doing? You had Reeves standing right next to you, the only one that's been able to hit any 3-pointers with consistency. You give him the ball. Let him take the 3. You don't take the 3. So this is what I'm saying. This is not the time for Darvin Ham to be giving these guys, his superstars, liberty to be superstars. Not at that range. Not at all. If you want them to be the superstars they need to be, get inside. And the second thing I'm going to say, the third thing, probably the fourth thing, I probably said a lot of things, but I'll say this real quick and I'll throw it back to you, D. My thing is this. You got to play Vando. Vanderbilt has to play in the fourth quarter. And I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna probably have to you're probably gonna have to put him on Murray. And the reason why I say this is because Schroeder is good taking up Murray full court pressure, but once they get into the half court set, they run a pick and roll. He's too small. He can't get around the picks. He can't fight through them because he's just too small. Vando is a bigger body who did a better job on Murray the first three quarters. So the fact is that he clearly is playing better defense. And I don't know what the stats are when he's playing him one-on-one, what Murray's shooting percentage is and what his field goal percentage is when Vanderbilt is playing against him. But they stand a better chance when Vando is playing him because he can get around the picks and rolls. And Vando is not thinking. See, the thing with him, he ain't got to worry about offense. So I think Darvin Ham is worried about playing Vanderbilt maybe because he's not going to get the offense in the fourth quarter. It doesn't matter. Your defense is your offense. If you keep them from scoring, that's points for you if you're able to go ahead and execute because you still got Reeves, you got Hachimura, you got AD, and you got LeBron. So they can still score for you. It doesn't matter. You're just going to have to let Reeves and LeBron be the facilitators. That's all you're going to have to do. You still can get scoring from Hachimura, and you still can get scoring from AD and LeBron and Reeves. So you got to be able to shut him down in the fourth quarter. I think you're gonna have to probably bench D'Lo to start. And I know that we talked about concerns with him being disconnected if that's to happen. I don't really care at this point in time. This is the Western Conference Finals. We're not worried about his feelings and how he feels if he gets disconnected. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because he's not giving us anything, not offensively, and clearly defensively, he's a liability. So this series is more about what the Lakers are not doing, what they are doing, as opposed to what Denver is doing. And so if the Lakers would just do what they can do, what we all know they can do, again, is to play defense and to just go inside, penetrate the ball. Even Hachimura said it at the halftime when they interviewed him. He said they have no shot blocker, so I'm just going inside. Nobody's blocking nothing. So there's none. I mean, I know they're big and they're all this and that, but there's still no match for what the Lakers can do. Our players are still better and more skilled than them. Aaron, what's his name?
Aaron Gordon.
Gordon, thank you. Aaron Gordon, he's just a big body. That's all. He ain't shutting down nothing, and he ain't shutting down nobody. Okay, he's just a big body. That's all he is. That's all. He ain't stopping nothing. No one is stopping LeBron James. I don't care if he's 66 years old. When he comes out of the middle of that court and in the middle of that lane, no one is stopping unless he just happens to lose the ball or just kind of show his age a little bit, like he did on some of them the dunks and the layups that he missed. But yeah, the Lakers. But I do think the Lakers will win the next two.
This seems more therapeutic than a real take. Like, listen. What? You sound like a delusional Laker fan. What?
How was that?
You guys lost. Yeah, accept the loss. Don't give me it's more what we did than what they did. No, they beat you guys. They blew you out. So
they blew us out. Nobody blew us out. They didn't blow us nowhere.
Okay. No problem.
A blowout is when you concede with 3 minutes left, you take your starters out, and then you bring in your backup. That's a blowout. They had a 21-point lead, and they blew the lead, okay? Yes, they prevailed. They showed.
So you guys had some. You guys figured something out, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, we did.
And what happened in game two? What happened in game two?
It was just, listen, it was Murray, and Murray just
did you guys have a lead?
Yeah, in game two? Yeah, we was up by 11 in game two.
Okay, what happened?
And we lost, but that was early in the third quarter.
There is a fundamental difference. Both of you had leads. One could not hold off the lead. One was still able to. They are a better team than you're giving them credit for. That's the problem. I'll let you go on and on about. Listen, Anthony Davis is his skill level. Yeah, ain't nobody can stop this person if they put their head down. But are they? If it was that simple.
So that's my point. It's what they're not doing. That's the thing.
No. It's not. No. They can't do it. They can't do it.
Why can't we do it?
Not consistently.
The only reason why we haven't gone in there consistently the way we should have for two reasons from what I perceive. It's either LeBron is tired or, which I know he is, or for whatever reason, they're running some other type of scheme that just makes no sense. But everybody clearly sees it. If
So it's
LeBron
Darvin Ham.
goes
It's
inside,
Darvin Ham. So now I know
It could be. Yeah, it
LeBron.
could be.
LeBron
Yeah.
is great about creating someone to be the scapegoat, right? He's
not
already.
LeBron.
He went on his foot, and then his foot. What? Listen, there's going to be some drama around that foot. Yeah, you remember when that happened? LeBron went on and said, "My team in the 20 years that I've been playing, we don't flop.
Yeah.
There's nobody flopping."
No, they don't.
They had countless stuff. LeBron slid all the way into the third row, knocked down at least $300 worth of beers. And now you're going to say, like, get out of here. He's a drop. Listen, all I got to say is this. Just give him respect. I agree 150% with Mike Malone. After game one, Denver won. This is what Mike Malone, I'm going to give you the basic of what I got from Mike Malone's statement. After game one, after Denver was the superior team and the Lakers crawled their way back in to still lose. Remember that hat that let me get the L on the camera. You still lost, right?
17 banners? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And that's what Laker fans
That's
always
different,
do.
But go ahead. I'm going to make my point.
No, there's no that's what we're talking this year. There's no Kareem. Is Kareem coming out?
No, he's not. But
is Magic going to play? I mean, Magic, listen. Is Magic going to play? Is Worthy coming out? So I don't want to hear about 17 banners because that is nauseating. You guys have had success over the course of the Laker, since the team has been established. Great. Those 17 banners do not count now. What are you doing now?
I'm going to tell you what we're doing now. What we're doing
and
now.
Let me just finish my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
What Mike Malone is saying is after you guys lost, all of the focus, because of delusional Laker fans like you, all of the focus is on, we got something. Rui, Jokic only had 2 points in the fourth quarter, and he had 2 turnovers, whatever the case may be. Right. But he had already smoked you guys the whole game. Like, who cares at that point?
The fourth quarter matters. Okay, go ahead.
The fourth quarter matters, but if it ends,
my God.
Now if it ends in an L, if Rui had shut him down and he had those stats in the fourth quarter and they lost, then maybe you're on to something. But the outcome was still the same. You still lost the game. That's first off. So Mike Malone is saying after we won the game, the focus is on what the Lakers are doing. And very similar to what you're saying, it's not what Denver is doing. It's not what Bruce Brown is doing. It's not what Jokic is doing. It's not what Jamal Murray is doing. It's what the Lakers aren't doing.
Right.
It will take, and so I want it to be a competitive series, but I want to see what the Laker fans are going to say. We have a list, and let me give you a quick list of what the Lakers were going to say. We started 2-10, and then we had Westbrook, and then we had this person, and then after the trade deadline, and then LeBron's foot, and then AD's inconsistency. And look where we beat the champions, the reigning champs. And then we beat Memphis, and we shouldn't be here. And I'm a kid from Akron, and a single parent household. And they're going to go through the whole gamut why they lost. Instead of saying Denver was a better team now. What do you say?
Here's what I'm gonna say. Number one, first of all, Mike Malone is all cap. All right, nobody's trying to hear your victimization story and how we don't get. You get respect when you win chips. Okay, that's how you get respect. You haven't earned anything, Mike Malone. Denver hasn't even been to a finals ever in their lives. You don't get no respect because you have no championship pedigree yet. We just won in 2020. You act like this ain't the Dallas Cowboys that won 30 years ago. Okay, the Lakers are relevant. We won 3 years ago, okay? No one is taking away that Denver is a good team. But you're not going to get the story because, number one, you're not the Lakers. The Lakers have the market. We've got the pedigree. We've got the legacy. And we're still playing relative basketball. And we got 2 of the best stars in the league that are playing for the Lakers. So, no, I don't care. Jokic is your best player. Murray is a very good player. He's a star. He's a good player. Now, what I'm trying to say is that when you look at this game, Murray's in the fourth quarter of that game is hitting 27-foot contested threes. There's nothing you can do about that. You give it to them. You just hope that that's not going to be the case throughout the rest of the series, that he's going to be able to hit contested shots like that, because that's what they was hitting even in game one. Jokic with the last-minute heave and hit. I mean, and AD is already in his body, and he still misses the shot, and he still hits the shot. So the thing is that you give them that. You give them that. There's not a problem with that. But what I'm saying is that
you didn't give them anything. Those shots there, man, you're not giving it to them.
No, see, but what I'm trying to say is you give them that in a sense. What I'm saying is that there's nothing you can do. In other words, that's what you see LeBron giving Murray the thumbs up when he hit the shot in game one. Listen, it's not, that's great defense, better offense. He hits
Murray
the
doesn't
shot.
need that thumb.
No,
LeBron doesn't need
thumbs back. He gave two thumbs back because he realized that the defense was there. D, let me tell you something. Denver is definitely, listen, they know that this team has a defense, and this is the toughest that they ever had to be contested since they've been in the playoffs. They know that every shot is tough and it's hard. There's no wide open threes. There's no wide open contested shots coming down the middle.
This is the toughest offense that the Lakers will face.
The Lakers are keeping them below their average, and not only that, but again, Jokic. Now you want to talk about great players? Fourth quarter matters. See, this the mentality of the net fan versus a Laker fan. 3/4 of good basketball means nothing. It's a fourth quarter that matters. That's where you make your money. That's where your stardom, your legacy, greatness is built.
Has LeBron missed 20 straight fourth quarter threes? I'm asking you.
Yes,
in the playoffs. Okay, so fourth quarters matter, right?
Resume, but D. LeBron,
no, we're not talking resume. We're talking playoffs now. Don't tell me resume.
LeBron is not playing well in the
fourth
quarter.
You went on to say that Denver never won anything. You said Denver never won anything, right?
No,
they've never made it to the finals or whatever the case may be. And you got 17 banners. You can't go back and forth between yesteryear and present day.
No,
that's
not
a fair take.
But what I'm talking about, Mike Malone's comments is talking about how his team is not getting any recognition, and Jokic is the third player in NBA history who's ever done. Nobody cares.
Those are all facts, though. Those are facts.
You have no chips. You got to get a chip in order to rep. You have no chips.
I love it. We went full circle.
MVP.
Let me tell you why. You went full circle. Beautiful.
No, I did.
Because you told me great players without chips.
Compartmentalizing. Yeah.
No, don't compartmentalize.
No,
you said great players that don't have chips don't matter, right? That's what you're saying.
At this stage of the game, at this stage, at the Western Conference Finals,
come on.
Come on. Jokic is balling, but he is not. In the fourth quarter, LeBron shut it. He was 0 for 6 against LeBron and had 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter when LeBron was holding him.
Was it in a victory or in a loss?
It's a loss.
It does matter. It does matter.
It's a loss. No, it's a loss.
Right.
I agree. I'm not taking away the fact that we're down 0-2 and we need to be able to win these next 2 games.
You're trying to make an excuse out of being down 0-2.
But what I am saying,
we're the best losers you'll see. Like we have the most exciting losses you've ever seen. No, a loss is a loss. A loss is and
like
they're halfway to getting to the finals.
Yeah, yes, they are. They are.
And if the Lakers don't win today, it's a wrap.
No, it's a wrap.
I think it will be a wrap, but it's going to be a quick work.
It will be a wrap. It will be a wrap if we lose today. I don't doubt that at all. But the question that bothers the Laker fans, D, and even yourself who watches the game, D, if the Lakers would just stick to what they do, if they just put the ball and you get the ball down low and let LeBron create pick and rolls, every time he goes to that basket, that layup is money. It's money. It's money. It doesn't matter. And they can't stop it. There's nothing they can do to stop it. And this is the part. This is why LeBron has been LeBron all year long. And yes, he has not been playing well in the fourth quarter when it comes to threes. But threes is not what he should be taking. That's my point.
Well, what is he taking?
Doing the things that we're not supposed to do. That's the difference. It's
not like that could be a life lesson. That could be one to grow on. That's a life lesson. What is he doing in the game? We're basing it off of the fact we have to go on
what is Denver doing to stop the Lakers? Okay, let me ask you this question. What has Denver done to stop the Lakers? What are they doing to stop the Lakers?
Their transition. They're destroying them in the paint. That's a big thing for a big team, right?
Well, okay.
Who's winning in rebounds?
Yeah, they rebounded.
Who's winning in rebounds?
In the first game they did, which we cleaned that up. Because we rebounded way better.
You rebounded better, but who had the edge?
I don't even
By the
think
time,
did they even have the edge? I don't even know. I thought we had the edge in game 2.
check it out. I don't know. Check it. I might be wrong.
I
thought they did, but by the time on the way you guys are playing, by the time you have the rebounding edge and the paints points edge, the series will be over, and that'll be fine.
No. I think the Lakers are going to tie this series up because I think the Lakers are going to now definitely go to what they need to do, and that's to go inside on this team. Now, the transition defense, yes.
Oh, it took them 0-2. Now they got it. Eureka. We got it now. We figured it out.
No.
We got to do what we got to do in LA.
It's just that LeBron shot us out. You said it in your opening statement. LeBron shot us out of the game. If LeBron doesn't take those stupid, ill-advised back-to-back threes, okay, when we had the lead, then we would have added more points and we could have actually won that game. To me, I thought that was a turning point in the game. At the end of the day,
I agree. He shot you out. Anthony Davis has 40 and 10 game 1. Game 2, LeBron and Anthony Davis combined for 40 points. That is the difference. That is a huge difference.
No, that's a huge difference.
But you saying he don't need points.
But we were still up by 11 and still had a chance to win that game. So even with the point differential in terms of the scoring between AD and LeBron, you still win that game. So you got to understand, the Lakers can still win the game without AD having to score 40 and 20. We can still win games. That's what I'm saying. Like, people keep getting on AD. I understand, yes. I'm not going to sit and say he's not zigging zagging. You're definitely right about that. He is very inconsistent. But for the most part, still at the end of the day, his defense has still been rock solid. And what he's not scoring, he's still taking away from another team. So that means you got to still get more scoring.
Whoa. That is not accurate.
Why is it not accurate?
Okay, his defense has been good. No knock
Very
there.
good. Yeah.
But if he doesn't score points, it will not be enough against this team. Because Jokic, did he have 2 triple-doubles so far? He's 2-2 with triple-doubles. Murray scored 23 points or 24 points in the fourth quarter. He got hot. Well, wait. Yeah. So you're saying Anthony Davis can be below 20? He doesn't have to average 25 as long as his defense is not stopping them from scoring. It may be below their average.
I said he doesn't need to score. He doesn't need to get 40 and 20. Now, does he need to at least get 25 or so? Yeah, he could. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him have about 5 or 6 more points because somebody said something which made no sense the other day. AD has to be more aggressive because most of his points came on the free throw line. Well, idiot, how do you think he got to the free throw line if he wasn't aggressive? So then you just nullified the point. That made no sense. That's why I say with AD, definitely shots that normally had fallen in game 1.
That statement does make sense.
How does it make sense?
If Anthony Davis is aggressive, only 2 things are going to come from that. Either he's going to score or he's going to get fouled and get to the free throw line.
That's my point.
So what do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
What you call was saying, I think it was on ESPN. I think it was actually Jay Williams, whose take I usually kind of like sometimes. He's talking about AD wasn't aggressive. AD has to be aggressive in scoring because 10 of his 20 points came on the free throw line. Well, I'm saying if that wasn't, how does he get to the free throw line if he's not being aggressive? No one's fouling him 50 feet from the basket. So what are you talking about?
I think
you got to be aggressive to get to the free throw line. So if you get
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if he goes from 40 to 18, something has changed.
The shots just weren't falling, D. Nothing Denver did. His shots, he had clear looks. Shots weren't falling. And when you look at Murray, who won that game for them, because nobody else in Denver did anything. It was only Murray who got hot and won that game for them single-handedly, which he has the ability to do. We look at his last fourth quarter games in the playoffs. He's average. I think he's the only one. Michael Jordan and it was someone else. I can't think of who it was. Michael Jordan and somebody else. He's the only player, the third player in NBA history to average 30 points or 25 or 20 or more points in the fourth quarter in playoff games. So he is that dude in the fourth quarter. And again, he was just hitting shots that were just, in most cases, unmakeable for most, and he hit them. So there's nothing we can take away from that. So Murray, I give him much credit, much love. I give him that. But it's not like we were leaving him wide open.
Can they duplicate that?
Breakdowns.
You're talking as if it was, just he had it was just luck, and he was just one of those players that was for a game unconscious. He could just shoot, and He had 31
exactly
points.
what we saw.
He had 31 points in the first game.
No, he did, right. But
did I miss something? It's not like he went from 10 points to getting super hot and having a ridiculous. He can do that consistently. But he had 31 in the first game.
Yeah, he did. He did have 31. He did rock in it. He rocked out in the first game. He did.
So at some point, we have to stop being surprised by his scoring output. Like at some point, you got to be like,
you what his stats were. So I'm not surprised. He's proven that he can do that. He does on a regular. So what the Lakers will need to do at some point, and it's going to be hard because, like, to your point, they have a lot more offensive weapon. You can try to get the ball out of Murray's hand. You may have to put a little more ball pressure on him. That's why I say Vando needs to play him. When Vando is against him, he does not score. Against the smallest shooter, he can score against Shooter because Shooter can't get underneath the pick and rolls. It's really more schematic than anything else, and getting the right size player against him.
You got the two best players, arguably top 10 players in the league, and you want Vando to save the day. You want Mo Bamba to take off the street clothes and play. Get out of here.
It's a team game.
Now it's a team game.
So you want
they keep drinking this water.
The Lakers is all about defense. It's the defense that has to prevail for the Lakers. If we play good defense, then everything else works for our favor when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. We're not looking for LeBron and AD to stop Murray. We're going to have to get other guys to do that so that they can be able to concentrate on what's going on in the interior and other aspects of switching and rotating and doing the other things that they need to do. LeBron and Hachimura have proven that they are giving Jokic fits. He is very uncomfortable in the fourth quarter against them dudes.
Uncomfortable is a 30-point triple-double.
He will take that game. But in the fourth quarter, Hachimura doesn't start, and they're not going to put LeBron on Joker early in the game. It's all about you got to understand the flow of the game. It's when the matchups matter coming into the fourth quarter. That's when you start to tighten the screw. What he did in the first three quarters
if you're down by 21 points going into the fourth quarter or the end of the third quarter, it's not like the Lakers have really good defense, right? Number one defense, right?
Transition.
But will they be able to shut Denver down where they don't trade baskets with them? My point is, how do you get from having such a big deficit that you have to climb your way back into? That's what you have to ask yourself. Those are the things that need to be questioned.
That was only one game that happened. That's only one game. I mean, we only got two games in.
And then the other game, when you had a huge lead, you had 11 points.
He was up by 11. I mean, that's a manageable lead. That's not an insurmountable lead. I mean,
now it's not insurmountable. Listen, Laker fans, every excuse, all excuses is nailed to the cross. You cannot. Enough with the excuses, man. Enough with the.
I'm giving Denver.
Just take the losses.
I'm giving Denver their problem. But Mike Malone. Listen, chill out, bro. Okay? Stop trying to act like we ain't getting the respect. Nobody cares. We're a first seed. We're not a 7th seed team. Listen, stop.
What do you expect him to say?
Just go on and take your victory like you're supposed to do. Now, if you want to make a national media kind of
it was just a post-game interview.
Nobody's
post-game press conference.
You gotta win, bro. No one is talking. They won game one. People still talking about how the Lakers got something that they found in game two that Mike Malone still has not figured out, okay, in terms of that. But they are winning the game, and that's all that matters. And I get his point on that. But stop it with the whole thing.
Who has to make greater adjustments? Who
Huh?
has to make greater adjustments in game 3 today? Is it the Lakers or is it Denver?
Honestly speaking, I still think both teams need to make some adjustments.
Greater. Which one has to make the greater adjustments? The team that's down 0-2 or the team that is...
No, the team that's down 0-2 has to make the greater adjustment. Okay. I totally agree with that. I won't refute that. And the great adjustment is, again, Vando in the fourth. I guarantee you, watch this, D. You're going to see Vando in the fourth quarter playing.
Who cares about Vando?
Vando is a defensive specialist. That's our Rodman of the Lakers. That's our.
So now it's 4-5. Vando is an offensive liability. It's 4-5. You don't have to.
We don't need him on because we got 4 other guys that can score in the fourth quarter. If you got Reeves, Hachi, AD, and LeBron, that's enough scoring right there. We don't need him to score. All we need him in for defense and rebounds. That's it. We got enough guys who can score. So we'll take that because he's giving us offense with shutting down Murray or at least neutralizing him, making him miss a few shots. That's what you got to understand. So that's what you need. You can't. Shooter doesn't give you. He can't. Shooter can pick you up 94 feet across the floor, and that's all he'll do. But then when they get in the half court and the pick and roll, he can't get around it. That's all.
Vando's the difference maker.
Vando's the difference maker. You listen.
Is there some way
This is coming from
can
the
you
same
can
guy
you email this? Can you email this to Darvin Ham? Does he have this? Does he know this already? I'm
gonna make sure. I'm gonna talk to my people, and we got connections here at the show, and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna make some calls to Darvin Ham, and I'm gonna let him know. All right, that we can do that. That's it.
Listen.
All I want to say, America, this is the same guy who actually wanted to do a whole show on who's the guy when the Nets early in the season. Who's the guy that?
If you don't remember, I'm not telling you. I know, but that's
the point I'm trying to make. It was some role player that the Nets had that came back in the lineup to be hurt. Now to D, right, who's a Net fan, he said this guy is instrumental. He wanted to do a whole 2 hours.
I didn't want to do a whole show now. Come on. Get out of here. And I'm going to be honest. It was Royce O'Neal. And listen, I don't have a problem. Listen, I don't have a problem.
No, it wasn't Royce O'Neal. It was another guy. It was another guy who was hurt off the bench, who came back off the bench, and you said he was instrumental to what.
I think it was Royce O'Neal.
No,
I think it was Royce O'Neal.
It was somebody else.
It wasn't like T.J. Warren or someone. It wasn't like that.
T.J. Warren. That's who it was.
No, it wasn't. It was not.
Did you not?
Khaled. No, it wasn't any of those people.
America. This man wanted to do a show. We was in pre-production.
This is not accurate. This is not accurate.
We would not have been where we are today had we have done. If we had done that show,
that's a fib. As they say, you can't say liar. It's a fib. You fibbing.
It's a fib, right?
That's not accurate, man. That's
y'all. No cap, guys. I'm telling y'all the truth. Okay, Donald wanted to do a show on T.J. Warren, but now he wants to tell me that Vanderbilt don't mean anything to us. Okay, and when we insert him into the game, all I'm saying is that role players do matter. And that's a factor, just like T.J. Warren matters to the Nets, as Royce O'Neal does. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. But all right, go ahead.
Well, when I guess maybe the lesson learned is when I focused on those role players, what did it get me? And when you're focusing on the you might have the same. You might have the same fate when it's all said and done. When your star players, you're focusing on the 22nd guy, the guy that's in the third row, and you're saying, well, yeah, he's going to make the difference. In any case, we have spent too much time talking about
Oh, my God.
we
were almost 40 minutes on the Lakers.
Yeah. Because you know what? 39 of it was you making excuses for what Denver hasn't done, as opposed to just give them their respect, man.
I'm a respect.
And that's all that Mike Malone is saying. This
Mike,
team
win a chip. You get respect when you win a chip.
No. Oh, so remember that. Mm-hmm. How, like, if people have been watching this show, they see how you flip flop on that kind of take.
How?
When we talk about KD, he's a sucker because you know XYZ. But then you give praise to people that don't have chips. But now you're like the Charles Barkleys and Patrick Ewins and whoever.
Barkley is great.
No, I don't want.
Go ahead.
But you're saying get a chip to get respect is what you're saying, right? Because Mike Malone and Jokic and they shouldn't be respected as being a good team.
No, I didn't
because
say that.
They don't have a chip.
I didn't say that. I'm pushing back on Mike Malone.
What did everybody hear? What did you guys hear? Did you hear him say that?
No,
get a chip first.
I said Mike Malone. Yes, you need.
We can't rewind live shows, but I think
they'll have to look at it.
You said get a chip.
If y'all watching live, you can rewind. If you're watching live, you still can rewind the show if you're watching live. If you're on YouTube, that is. Okay. I don't know about Facebook. But all I'm saying, I'll close out with this. All I'm saying, and I don't disagree with anything my boy D has said today, y'all. I agree with everything he said. He's right and he's spot on the money. All I'm saying is that with Mike Malone and his situation, stop crying and acting like, okay, you ain't getting love. They get love. People talk about Jokic. They still saying today he still should have won the MVP, which clearly he should have. Okay, D, I agree with everything you said on that. But stop acting like, oh, you know, what he's trying to say is no one's giving us respect because we won game one. And they talk about, oh, what the Lakers found to actually win. Because the truth of the matter is the Lakers are who we are. We are box office. There's more Laker fans than Nugget fans in the earth. And the fact that the Lakers are of a championship pedigree team. So, yes, it's good. Because if we lose this series, even though we, as all excuses you said, starting off 2-10, play-in team,
all of that won't matter.
Right? People still think the Lakers should, even though Denver is the better team and they're favored to win. But if the Lakers win this series, they're not going to be surprised. And at some point, you still think the Lakers are capable of beating Denver. And
well,
that's all
they know people aren't surprised because those teams are always afforded every opportunity to win.
Here's Don Spiracy coming.
No, there's no Don Spiracy. This is when it's really surprising. I'm going to tell you something that I saw and I thought it was very interesting.
Okay.
And I want people to think about this. I was on Twitter and somebody said the Heat and Nuggets final will have 25 views. NBA, do something about it.
The who will have, say that again?
The Heat and the Nuggets will have, NBA final will have 25 views. NBA, do something about it.
Yeah. I agree with you there. It'll be a dismal final.
No. Why the best teams should play. Whoever deserves to be in those finals should play. So this is why it's the mentality that you have about even if they lose, the Laker fans will think that they could have and should have won because they're a better team. Or if they do win, they won't be surprised because Laker fans in the NBA, because it is about ratings, will or assist any way possible to help a team or assist a team in getting to a goal for the greater good of the product that they're putting out. So people are saying that, and it makes sense. Just like there are certain teams that really we would prefer to see certain teams in the final.
Sure.
We would prefer to see certain teams in the Super Bowl. We would prefer to see certain teams in, the World Series, but it doesn't happen that way. But understand that the Lakers are accustomed to some home cooking, which I expect there to be a
every
ton.
team is home cooking, but go ahead.
But I expect there to be a ton of home cooking, especially a team that's down 0-2. I expect, listen, you have to hold your breath around LeBron. If you breathe on him, he's going to get a foul call. And as much as you say nobody can stop LeBron driving to the hole, every third play, he's looking looking for blood. Am I right or wrong?
Does every player not complain about not getting
not
a
every
call
player. Not every player.
What NBA player you know that don't complain after driving to the hole or shooting the ball and felt like they got fouled or get upset with the ref for no call, or even complain about even getting called for a foul and will
I can give you a few. I can give you a few players.
Who just walks away and gives the ref the ball back and just go set up at the foul line and just accept their infraction? Who does that? Or who doesn't complain about not getting a call? I mean, you saw Kyle Lowry last night going crazy when he got held on that play.
Kyle Lowry will before he even shoots the ball, he's looking for a foul. But
just like every other player does for every.
No,
I mean,
Kawhi Leonard doesn't do that. Shea Gildress will just hand the ball right back to him and say, you know what, I didn't get the call. And he has even made it a point of saying, I'm not going to beg for fouls. It just wasn't my call. So it's not, but for LeBron to say he spent 20 years not doing that and no team that he's been on has ever flopped, we'll see what happens. We have, obviously a few hours before the game. We got some time before the game, but I expect there to be a good amount of home cooking. I
would expect that too. I mean, I would expect it too. I don't disagree with you, but that's everybody. Jordan benefited from it. Kobe, the Lakers, the Birds, the Celtic teams of the '80s, Shaq and Kobe, Duncan. They all, look, you get those calls. Jokic,
you mentioned about 30 different Lakers, and so it seems like it's a commonplace for the Lakers to always get favorable calls.
It's just I can't help it, D. If we have, if we win chips in almost every decade, right? Like it's not my fault.
But now we're
that the
understanding
Lakers
why.
are
We may have tapped into the reason why.
Well, Jordan benefited and so did Duncan. Every dynasty. You don't think Clay and Steph has benefited? KD? You don't think KD gets calls? You don't think
KD.
Sucker MC gets calls?
We're not talking about KD.
Yeah, he gets calls.
Let's move on, man, because we spent 45 minutes talking about the Lakers and not respecting.
And we did talk about Denver too. But make sure you put that in so when Mike Malone watches the show, he can at least say they did talk about my Nuggets.
Yeah, Mike Malone is right. I agree with him. Just they're in the Western Conference for a reason. Respect them. That's all. That's all he's asking for. That's all he's asking for.
Asking for it. He's whining like a bill. Probably the victim role. All right.
Let's talk about Miami and Boston. Listen, Jimmy Butler, he has been balling out. Speaking of a player putting a team on his back, they have I still have the Celtics ultimately winning, but we have to now really take a real look at Jason Tatum.
You said you have the Celtics winning? Is that what you said?
I still have the Celtics winning.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
I think they'll be able to grit it out.
Me too.
But we got to take a look at Jason Tatum. I don't think he's as good down the stretch and in clutch play as people want to anoint him as being. Because, listen, I guess they understand that they won't be able to coexist, and this is their last run for all intents and purposes. This is their last run. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're not going to be teammates next year. Unless one way, shape, or form they win it all. But I think $600 million is a lot to commit to. So the team is not going to commit to $600 million.
No.
So this is their final run. But it seems like for whatever reason, Miami is one of the most dangerous teams to just be playing with. And when you have, it's still a 5-point game, 10 points, because they have shooters and so many 3-point shooters that can hit in clutch moments. And they are not big names. A lot of them are undrafted. And these are good players that step up and hit big shots. Martin, Vincent, Strus, obviously Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo is finding his way to be more aggressive. It is of course, Lowry. He has, championship DNA. They are outplaying the Celtics with a super deep bench. And so Williams kind of poked the bear with Jimmy Butler. And the way he's been playing and he's not injured, wrong person. You better off to just play your game. Yeah. Don't start shooting threes and pointing at him and talking to him. Because Jimmy, he even interviewed and said as much. He gets off on that. He likes the trash talk. They were face to face. I think they both got technicals. I kind of like that. I loved it. It was a throwback game.
I
thought they did.
I didn't think they did.
Maybe they didn't. Okay, but I'm glad they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Right.
I liked it. It was like kind of a throwback to like old real basketball before it got so soft and everybody is friends. And I'm sure that there is some competitive respect, obviously, because they're, obviously Boston, they're a good team, a super deep team. Miami is kind of undermanned, but yet they make the most of it. The biggest thing that can't be understated is the coaching advantage. A huge coaching advantage, because getting your players in the right spots to maximize their skill set makes all the difference in the world. And so far, it has made all the difference in the world, because if we look at rosters, obviously the Celtics have a better roster on paper. But if Spoelstra can get his players in the right position, that's a 6-man on the court. That's a unfair advantage, because Mazzulla's looking back, he's looking over, he's looking everywhere. What are you doing, Mazzulla? And so I think that is a huge advantage for Miami, and I think it's going to be an interesting series. What do you say? But I did say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did say Miami was going to get 2 games. And so far, hey, listen, it might be 2 and counting because initially, and for them to win both games on the road, and now Jimmy's getting back. Listen, Celtics are now the back is against the wall. They got to win both games because if they lose one, if they split in Miami, it's over.
Well, I'm gonna say that. Well, first of all, let me say this, yo. I think we got to do a segment one day. We got to. I'm gonna ask our producers to put together. This might be to have Don do a series of the coaches that he emulates or imitates, on the sideline. Don is a good coach. From Mike McCarthy to Doc Rivers, to, to Darvin Ham and Mazzulla, you be crushing that. I think it's hilarious. But I have to say this though, the Celtics are right where they need to be. Let's make it plain. They're 3-0 when it comes to on the road elimination games. Now this is an elimination game, obviously, but they tend to just thrive. They've lost, about 10 home games in the playoffs. Okay. And they've lost a lot of home game playoffs in the last 2 seasons, right? They're just a team that's just, it's hard to figure them out, right? Just as when you think the Celtics are over, that's when Tatum explodes. That's when he goes over. We saw it against the elimination games against Milwaukee last year when they were down. We saw it this year against Philly. They're just a team that they don't play really well at home, and they actually do thrive on the road. And that's just the kind of team that they are. And so, to your point, I agree. I think Boston will win this series still. I think they're going to come back home, and they're going to do, because you know what it is with Miami? Miami doesn't do well when it comes to thriving. They're one of those type of teams where you have people who don't really know what to do with success. They're so used to being the underdog. They're so used to having to overcome obstacles. It incites them. It infuses something inside of them that just makes them play outside of who they normally are and reach this level of ability that they know how to turn on when the circumstances suggest such. That's Miami. I don't know if Miami would ever win a series if they're up 3-0. Because they wouldn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's too much. Like, what do we got to play for now? We're winning, so it's like, let's just chill tonight. You know what I mean? Because let's wait until they tie it up. Then we'll go into a game 7 in Boston, and then we'll win it. You know what I mean? That's just what it is with them. Boston is actually antithetical to that. They're just a team that's just, hey, we're just gonna go, and we're down 0-2, but we're gonna go on the road. And that's when we're going to thrive, and what you call is going to go off. But I feel a Tatum, that is. But what I do believe, and I agree with Van Gundy. I don't know who it was. Not Van Gundy. It was Reggie Miller, actually. He was announcing the game. Him and Stan Van Gundy last night. I agree with them, though. They should have doubled Jimmy. You got to double Jimmy. You can't let him play one-on-one. All right? So you got old boy out there to talk the trash for him. He scored over him. Now, when they brought Brogdon on him, he did miss his 2 shots, okay, when Brogdon was on him. Made it a little tougher because Brogdon is a better defender, I think, than the other kid. What's his last name again? Is that a Williams, too?
It's a Williams, yeah.
He's a Williams, okay. Right. So they got
Grant Williams.
Grant Williams.
Grant Williams and Rob Williams.
Grant Williams and Rob Williams. So they have 2 Williams. So, but he made it a little tougher, Brogdon, that is. And Jimmy, his sweet spot, right? It's to go to that little baseline, and that's his shot. That's the thing. He's going, that's cash money every time. You got to get him away from getting to those spots. And I think you're going to have to double team him and put a little bit more pressure on them. So I think defensively, they really crashed down, and that's where they kind of fell apart. And the turnovers were bad too. I mean, and I don't know what Tatum has these arms that have no bones, right? He has like no bones in his arms, right? Everything, he's just real linky and long. Like he can lay up from half court, right? All you gotta do is put the ball out there from the half court and just lay it in. His arms just stretch out like expect the gadget. But he's trying to get through 2 defenders at the top of the key 2 times in a row, trying to dribble through 2 guys, which just doesn't make any sense. Luckily, Smart was able to recover in that sense. But again, it's like offensively, the problem with them is that they're a little like the Knicks in a lot of ways too. It's all about one-on-one basketball, and they don't run sets. They don't run the plays that they should run, and that's what also hurts them too. And I think at some point you're going to have to try to set up, because when you have a good defensive team like Denver, talking about Denver, right? Miami, then what happens is you're going to play into their strength when you just try to go one-on-one. You make it easier for them. put pressure on their defense, run some sets, get into some pick and rolls, do some things that will definitely put them under some more pressure, and then you can get the open shot because they got guys that can score, outside of Brown and Tatum. But you got to get a little more creative on offense and not just give it to Tatum and let him go one-on-one against 5 guys and then just let him do his thing. I don't think that's the formula to success. So yeah.
And there's something else that I've seen, and I don't know if it's a thing or maybe it is a thing, that there is a dynamic within the Celtics that Jason Tatum wants to assert himself as being Batman and not Robin. So sometimes, instead of him passing the ball away for a better shot from another teammate, he will force shots, and and obviously it doesn't work out. Sometimes it can if he gets hot, but when I've seen Jaylen Brown kind of on the wing waiting for the ball, and Jason Tatum will drive to the hole on 2 or 3 people instead of keeping the ball moving to get somebody open because the ball moves faster than people can, right? We know that. Correct. So move the ball, and somebody, because how fast the ball can move, someone is going to be open for a wide open shot. Absolutely. And I think Jason Tatum, I think he feels a little bit, because sometimes Jaylen Brown performs better, and is more consistent, that, hey, I have to make this my team. Because we're getting to the final, this is our final push as teammates. And I have to over-assert myself that I'm the man on this team. I want to put the stamp that this is Jason Tatum's Celtics team. I want to end all questions. We'll win by me or we'll die by me. And I think that can hurt a team, because the goal is to win the game. And it doesn't matter how you win, because if you're the best player on the team, more often than not, it's going to be, unless somebody out of the woodwork grossly outperforms you, you're going to get the MVP. If it's in a final, you don't have to shoot yourself into it, but you can shoot yourself out of it. So I think you have to play within, the flow of the game, and make the plays that are best for your team to succeed. It's not about who takes the shot and who gets the points. It's better if you have 20 and you have 4 other teammates and some bench players that are all in double digits, and you win, then you have 30 points and your team loses, and you're forcing it down the stretch, and they pick your pockets twice. Like, that was that loss was on Jason Tatum. It was on him at the end of the day, because it's always going to be on the person whose the ball is in their hands down the stretch exclusively. And I think he exclusively kind of shut out his team, and he started chucking at that point. Yeah, and I think that was the reason they lost.
I agree. No, I agree with everything you just said. You're right. And again, goes back to just trying to be ISO ball heroes and trying to do what he do. And again, it's hard to fault him in totality of his mindset, because we've seen when he does have to go chuck wagon, he's put a team on his back and they've gotten a victory, we've seen that. So, but the key to what I thought you said in your commentary just now is that you got to play in the flow of the game. You got to kind of know when it's time to let these other guys, particularly Jason Brown, get off. Jaylen Brown, get off and get him engaged, get him, with these open shots, or if it's Smart or whoever it is, or whoever is open. Like, in other words, be a little bit more team-minded and getting guys open. Using your influence as a great offensive player to be able to draw double teams and get these other guys open. And that's part of the flow of the game, particularly when it's close. Because when it's close, and you haven't been the one to keep them in the game, it's been a collective effort, stay that way. Don't now try to break out and now say, I'm gonna try to go off on a 15-0 run by myself. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? If collectively the team has played well and there's been ball distribution there, and there's some equilibrium in the scoring, and there's some matchups that are to your favor, look for that. Continue to stay in that way and then just play good defense. And that's how you can overcome a team like Miami. In a game with Miami, if you you got to take away Jimmy Butler. That's really what it is. If a guy, if these other guys, the Spruces and what's
Martin.
Martin, that's the kid. Martin,
he had a really good game.
Really good. I mean, he balled out yesterday.
Yeah.
So if these guys beat you,
I think he had more points than Anthony Davis. But listen, we're on a different segment. I shouldn't even have brought that up. But I think he had more points than Anthony Davis. And I just want to say this: 2-pointers count too. And
thank you. I agree.
Everybody wants to shoot threes. It's the Steph Curry effect. Everybody wants to shoot threes. I mean, they will have a fast break and they will kick it out for a three instead of getting the two or aggressively going to the hole and trying to draw the N one. Get it the old-fashioned way.
Like, I'm telling you,
it's amazing. It's a whole different kind of. I don't know. It's a different way of playing, and people. I know it's so attractive, and maybe the major 3-point players are getting these massive contracts. So that is the draw on being such a proficient or prolific 3-point shooter, because people will kind of connect you with that. But listen, if you're trying to win a game, teams will not be, and everybody wants the big splash shot.
Yeah,
that is going to make Sports Center. And it's going to be on Brooklyn Beards and Ball. No, I'm just joking. But all I'm saying is just drive to the hole. If you have a lead, see, teams will have leads and start chucking up threes. Those long rebounds get a team. It starts the transition basketball and gets a team right back in it.
Right.
Get a good 2-pointer. That's fine. And we understand analytically.
Analytically. That's it.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. It's right on the tip of your tongue.
It's right on the tip of
your tongue. We understand.
Oh, God.
I can't even say the word now. But you know what I mean. That threes are better than twos.
Oh, God.
Analytically.
Analytically.
Okay. All right. So, Yo, that's right. If I say it too many times, I may go up.
No, I need that. I need you on the door. Right?
Right. Oh, man, get up real quick. I need you up here. You need it on the door. But in any case, I say that we understand threes and twos. But if you're down, that makes sense. But if you're up, stick with the twos. Stick with the consistent twos, the high percentage shoot twos over any threes, unless you are obviously a 40+% behind, the 3-point line. But if you're just a marginal, a player that just keeps shooting, I mean, LeBron is shooting 20-something% from three. He should probably stop.
He should stop. No question.
There's a guy that plays for the Knicks. I won't mention his name. But he kept shooting, and they tore down his posters at the Garden right after they lost.
Exactly.
So if you're not a 3-point shooter, there should be wrinkles to your game where you come up with, okay, if it's not working right now, let me go to the inside. Let me try something else. Let me get an N1, because 2 + 1 is 3.
Yep.
And 3 is 3, right?
Right. So you put him in foul trouble.
Exactly. So it is more beneficial to get an old-fashioned 2, an old-fashioned 3, an N1, or taking it than it is just shooting a 3 from and then not even nobody. It's not right at the 3-point line. It's either I'm shooting from 50. Or it's always in excess. It's never just, let me just hit a 3. Let me hit a corner 3. The most high percentage 3 I can shoot is a corner 3. No, I got to shoot from the logo, because everybody, once again, is trying to build their brand and make their brand bigger by, I made Sports Center because I shot it from 45 feet. Like, it's unnecessary.
No, I agree,
But
and I'll say this: I love everything you said is so spot on, and I really hope that we get back, and I think we are gradually coming that way again, where you're going to have a balanced team again, where you have great interior, great big men, really good big men, and then also still keep what I believe is a very good 3-point shooting team, right? And that's what we're going to see. That's why I think whoever comes out the West is going to win because of the bigs, and you can still have guys that can shoot threes. Because Golden State is an anomaly, and everybody's trying to build their team like what Golden State had. First of all, there's no shooters ever that God has created in the earth like Steph Curry. There's no Steph Currys in the world other than one, right? So that's a different kind of an anomaly. He's an aberration of shooters that we've ever seen in the game today. They're a jump shooting team that happened to win 4 chips, right? And go to what is it, 7 finals? I think they went to an 8, maybe. I think because they lost to LeBron, they lost to Toronto, right? So they lost 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they 6 finals that they've gone to. And but that's an aberration. And you see, again, without the bigs, you need size. Size is coming back again. And if you had guys, and here's the thing, if you had guys like Randall, to your point, if he was a play inside, the Knicks would be further. They should still be playing right now. You also, if you had Embiid, who stopped shooting threes and loved to shoot the jump shots, if he just stayed inside like a typical big man and just dominated inside all day, again, that team could have prevailed. So again, the big man has to come back. We got to get away from the threes. I think you're absolutely right about it. Guys can have a 3-on-1 fast break and they will literally kick it out for the 3. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't understand why that they're just so enamored and so infatuated with that shot. And I think that shot is taken away from the game. I know Charles Barkley always complains about that because everybody just wants to shoot threes all day. You know what I mean? The big man is coming back, though, D. I think we're going to start seeing it a little bit more. Golden State, you're going to see them get some size. Other teams that are playing small, they're going to need to get a little more size, and it's going to be necessary if you plan on going far, because it is going to make a difference, because you ebb and flows come with the 3-point shot. So,
of course. Okay, so and let's just bounce back. I guess it goes without saying that you have the Lakers winning.
Yeah, I
today.
got the Lakers winning tonight. Yep.
And then for tomorrow's game, do you have the Celtics winning?
Yeah, I got the Celtics winning. Yep, I got LA and Boston winning both game 3s.
Can we get a score on the Lakers game? I'm just really interested in what you want to say about the Lakers.
Well, it's funny. I told you in game 1 the Lakers by 6, and we actually lost by 6. So that was interesting. But what do you want to score?
It's not interesting for Vegas, though. It's not interesting for Vegas because Vegas has been making a ton of money because both, and this is a whole nother segment. When you see players that are 90% from the free throw line down the stretch, miss free throws,
right?
It's questionable. It's spread worthy. It's Vegas connected. But listen, you know how everyone has those conspiracy. I'm not at liberty to say this. I'm at an undisclosed location. Right. I can't tell you my whereabouts because the feds are looking. Like, listen, if you don't think that it's connected, that I think both games, the Lakers and Denver, the spread was 6.5. First of all, where is the half point coming from? And they win or they lose by 6.
What does that mean? How do you get a half point? What does that mean?
It's a hook. That means if you win by 6, you cover. If you lose by 7, so if they lose by 6, it's a push, right?
Okay.
Let's say that the spread was 6 points.
Okay.
If you lose by 6, it's a push. Nobody wins.
Okay.
A half point is called the hook. Right?
Which means, then what does the team need to win by to get a hook, to make the hook relative?
Well, they make the hook for instances like this, because if the Lakers would have lost by 7 points, which they had an opportunity to do in both games,
right?
Then of course Vegas would have lost, because all of the loyal 17 banners and all of them thought that we had something after game 1. So certainly 6.5 point spread or a 6 point spread is, we got this. We figured it out. Giving the Lakers, LeBron and AD 6 points, and we got Rui shutting down Jokic in the fourth quarter, it's a no-brainer. And then so
Okay.
what they do is they set that up. So long story short,
Okay.
it's just funny how the spreads and how the game worked out, that it always falls kind of in that line. So
Okay.
yeah, it
That's
should be interesting.
I appreciate the breakdown on that. Yeah.
It should be interesting how it all turns out.
Yeah.
But you think that the Lakers will win by how many? Because we saw a high-scoring game first game.
By 8.
We saw a high-scoring game first game, and that didn't work out for them. And then we saw, because, Denver can push the ball. And then we saw a low-scoring game that should have benefited the Lakers.
Should have.
And still same result.
It's yeah. We definitely needed to split one of those games.
You need to put some respect on Mike Malone's name. That's what you need to do. But I think
so. I got the Lakers. I got the Lakers winning by 8, and I got Boston. I got actually Boston winning by 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lakers by 8, Boston by 10.
I think the spread on the Lakers game is only 3.5. Those halves are the Lakers.
Oh, the Lakers are favorite. Okay.
I think that they're favorite.
Okay.
They would be. I mean, they're at home and their backs are against the wall, and they got the 17 banners.
That's right. That's what you say.
That's all you gotta say. That solves everything. You know that.
17 banners. That's right. There you go. See, you learning. There you go. That's right.
I am learning.
That's right.
Okay. Lastly, we have two more things before we wrap up. Real quick. What are the 76ers smart to let Doc Rivers go? And it's been reported that James Harden was at one of the main people pushing for Doc Rivers to get fired. Meanwhile, he has 1 foot in Houston already. He's already at some gentleman's club in Houston pushing for Doc Rivers to get fired. And it doesn't make sense. Now, Doc Rivers needed to go, right?
Yeah,
I agree with that. But unless there's a commitment that James Harden is going to say, hey, let's do this again. Let's push. We had something. We just didn't have the X's and O's to put us over the top. We were dealing with injuries, and we want to build the chemistry. We need a few more pieces. But he is not committed. Actually, I think there was reports that he is opting out of his last year because he wants a long-term deal. And he wants to go to Houston. He wants to go somewhere else. I don't think he wants to stay in Philly. And then there's reports that Embiid is starting to try to look somewhere else for another process to start over.
I didn't hear about that. Wow.
Yeah, listen. See? So why would you then get rid of Doc Rivers, although I agree that he needed to go, based on somebody that's not going to be there long term? And then why would Embiid throw Maxey and Tobias Harris and Tucker under the bus for somebody and isolate with somebody who's not going to be there?
Who's not even going to be there. Right, exactly.
But now you look stupid, and now you getting a side eye from everybody else on your team because they know how you really feel about them. What do you say?
Correct. No, you're right, D. You're right, and that's a good point. So here you are in the press conference, and you talk about me and James. Me and James need more help. Yeah, but James ain't with you, bro. James already flew out to Texas to get minute the game ended. So and I feel bad for the guys, particularly Maxey. Tobias Harris is trash. So you throw him under the bus. Who cares? He's trash because he definitely gave you nothing. But Maxey is that dude, and it's a shame that the way he did that. It was very unfortunate. It wasn't leadership qualities at all that he expressed or demonstrated in that moment. But Harden is out. Harden wants a long-term deal. That's what it is. And I guess he thinks Houston is going to give it to him because of the nostalgia effect and everything. But if I'm Houston, you know what I would do? I would say, you know what? Even though they got what's his name?
Ime Udoka.
Ime Udoka. With Ime Udoka being there, I would still say, you know what? Kick rocks, James. Stay in Philly or go wherever you're gonna go. You dissed us. You poo-pooed on us. You quit on us. You told us how bad we were, and you wanted out, and you forced a trade, and you all intents and purposes quit on us. And so you know what? We remember that. Don't come back here now. We don't care. Thank you for your service for the years that you gave us. We never got anywhere with you. We had a few nice little playoff runs. You won an MVP with us and yada yada. But you know what though? kick rocks. Go. We're going to go with our younger guys. We got Ime Udoka. We believe he's going to build a good team. That's it.
Chris Paul had something to do with them not going deep too.
Because Chris Paul was holding Harden accountable. Harden don't want to win nothing. And you're not going to, let me tell you something. I'm not putting no curse on anybody. But on what I'm saying, we're talking basketball, right? We're not talking about somebody's life and their livelihood or their health, anything like that. James Harden is not a dude that you're going to win a chip with. He's not. If he's whether he's your Batman or your Robin, he's not going to win. You're not going to win with him. He has to be like the guy. He can't be Batman or Robin. He's got to be somebody a lot lower on the totem pole, right? Somebody.
He has to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not going to win with him. He's not the kind of player that has, I think, a mentality to win. He's not that kind of dude. And he's not the Harden of old anymore. So he's only going to give you flashes. Now, to his credit, he did give Philly 2 victories alone, on his own, in that playoff run, okay? So they should have won. Now, that we all know that's all on Embiid. That whole series falls on Embiid, him and Doc. All right, boom. But at the end of the day, when you look at James Harden, Harden is wishy-washy. He's inconsistent. He's double-minded. He's not decisive.
Unstable in all his ways.
Blows with every wind of doctrine of king that blows towards him.
Right.
He's got itching ears, itching shots and palms and everything else that he wants to do. And that's the problem with him.
Gentlemen's clubs, not giving them much wine.
Exactly. He want new wine. So now, so that's the problem with Harden. So he's done. I wouldn't mess with him. And if I'm Houston, I don't care. And they might be tempted because they'll think they'll get some sales and some tickets and they got to sell something to their fan base or whatever the case may be. But I don't care. Take them young guys. You got Ime Udoka there, who I think some players will probably want to come and play for him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and do that. I think they may have some, I don't know all of their situation by way of cap and draft capital or what they have working with them. But at the end of the day, go ahead, build a team, kick rocks James Harden. And he's stupid. He needs to go ahead and take that $36 million because ain't nobody giving him no long-term nothing. You're not getting any long-term. Your days are over for that, bro. You one and done with a either you can get a player option or team option, and that player option, it's going to be low. So they don't care. No one's paying you $40 million. People saw what happened with Westbrook. They're not doing that. I don't care. And Westbrook played well in Clipperland, right? But the Clippers benefited because guess what? They was able to, his contract was bought out already. So he was a free agent. So it didn't cost them anything to have Westbrook on their team. And he played well. So they benefited from that, right? But we'll see what happens to him now.
Right,
yeah.
The business, right. This is something that you still have an old school mentality with that. Which is James Harden is going to get more. He's going to get more than $36 million. He will get more than $36 million.
You think somebody's going to pay him
Absolutely.
more than $36 million?
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
Teams have money to burn and waste.
Wow.
Yes, based off of name recognition. And I'm not saying he may get it more. Though? What I'm saying is he may not get it more per year. But if he gets a 2-year $60 million, right? Or a 2-year $70 million, that $70 million is more than a 1-year 36.
Than a 1-year 36. Oh, no question about it.
So yes, it makes sense for him to play, and he will get more than $36 million. No question about it. And we look at players and say, well, they don't deserve that. Timing is everything. What the market is. Who are free agents? Who is sought after? Who are they going after? Based on, is a team feel like they're one piece away? They're the leadership or the facilitating. He led in assisted. So there's a place for somebody who leads in assist.
Yeah, no doubt.
He will get picked up. Somebody, it may not be Houston, but somebody is going to give him in totality more than $36 million. I don't know why you think that teams are so frugal and are so, well, we have to match. Well, if you average this, we can only give you that. They will throw money at players because it is so much about merchandising. It's so much about ticket sales, and names matter. So from a name recognition standpoint, you have a lot of young talent in Houston. If that is his destination, you have a new coach who comes with his own name recognition, baggage, whatever you want to call it. So yes, it's must see TV. It's big market. So I think it's going to be interesting, and I think
Okay,
somebody's going to want him.
You won me over with your argument. I do agree with the cis thing. Yeah, definitely. And we know he's more of a facilitator. No one is expecting him to be the Harden of old like he was in Houston the first go round. So, and I say first go round, assuming he'll be there again this year. But no, you're right. There might be a market for a team. I was just kind of looking through the league here and trying to see who could possibly take a Harden. And bam, you know, a 2-year, $60 million or $55-70 million contract for 2 years, you know, and I don't know. I mean, you would think a championship contending team would do that. I don't think a young team, a team that's rebuilding, would commit that level of money to Harden. That wouldn't make sense. So it would have to be a team that could be on the cusp. You know, could it be the Clippers? Could it be? Could even Phoenix think about him, right? Move off from Paul and go with James, right? They, you know, that might be interesting to do. So that might be interesting to look at. Although I don't know if Phoenix would do that, but they could, you know, if KD wants to play with Harden again. So yeah, I mean, you won your argument there. You're right on that. Okay, I agree with you there. Yeah, that's a good argument you made, because he can still, and every now and then he might still give you some flashes of old, which he still can give you, which he did in these past playoffs here against Boston. So all right, good point. I agree with you, D. See, we agree on something.
And so lastly, we just want to do a quick RIP to Jim Brown. From the Cleveland Browns. He passed away. I think he was 87. He passed away in his home in LA. So we want to send our prayers and condolences to his family. Great player, Hall of Fame player, activist, actor. So, you know, he had a long life, and he's had a great career. He's done a lot, obviously on the field and off the field, and he'll be missed. What do you have to say?
No, he will be missed. He's a legend. Obviously, we know about his activism, as you stated, which clearly, obviously, in the hearts of Black America, will always be appreciated. You know, and I'll say this too. For me personally, I never thought even him, you know, being, how would I put this, being interested in the policies of President Trump, I don't think it blemished anything in the Black community, you know, because I felt he earned that right, because to either explore or to become inquisitive about something different, or what, and I'm not getting into what Trump's, you know, purported policies and what was really in his heart or whatever he wanted to do for Black America, but I always say like this: I give always the benefit of the doubt to legends like Jim Brown. We already know what he did on the field, okay, and retired early, by the way, and still it was decades before people even break records that he set, you know, and only playing such really what would be considered a short career for all intents and purposes and going into Hollywood. But for what he did and what he stood for, along with the Kareems, the Bill Russells, we saw, you know, a lot of guys that fought back in those days for Blacks in sports and just, you know, civil rights. He earned that right. And if anybody, you know, would to question anything like that, because there was some comments I'm sure that were out there with that. But for me personally, you know, his legacy stands strong, his record stands strong, and you know, kudos to one of the greats that has ever done it on the court, off the court. So you look at the Muhammad Ali's and the Bill Russells and the Kareems and so many other guys that stood up and went beyond basketball to be effective in their communities and fight for civil rights and other, you know, equalities that were necessary for our country. Kudos to them. Nothing you can ever take away from them. So the legend will be missed. One of the great running backs of all time, considered to be still the best to ever do it. And you know, kudos to Jim. He was a great man. So blessings and prayers to his family and to all those that were really close to him, and to all those that are mourning the loss of Jim Brown today.
Okay, so once again, we want to give a shout out to Infinite Audio for the music. We want to give a shout out to Kingdom Creative for the production.
Come on, let's
Please
go.
like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We do appreciate all of the comments, all of the likes, challenging our takes. If we made sense today, please leave a comment. If we were far off and you don't agree, please leave a comment. If you would have some subjects that you would like us to kind of talk about and address, because on our next show, we're going to, this is a little preview, we're going to talk about how all of a sudden or in recent years, it has been made a thing to watch players in the tunnel kind of going, I guess, to the locker room, their fashion and what they're wearing. And so, that was never a thing growing up and watching players, what they're wearing. And my question is it based on marketing that they want to market people's brands, or is it a deeper agenda with how these players are dressing, the questionable outfits, some of the kind of, I don't know how I would word it, but there's some questionable outfits. And, other people make comments about it, the Charles Barkleys, because that's a thing now. And so we have these supremely gifted Black athletes in basketball, NFL. That is, of course, they're marketing their brand. They're the brand within the brand. But behind the scenes, who is pushing them to dress like this? And what is it saying to our community? What is it saying to impressionable minds? What is it saying to kids that look up to these sports figures naturally? Because, we know sports figures shouldn't be role models, but just by the nature of their large platform, they are to a lot of kids. What are the designers? What are these, fashionistas behind the scenes pushing these players to dress a certain way, and those players accepting that? Is there a greater or a bigger plan behind the scenes? I think that is going to be interesting.
That's going to be an interesting conversation. Yeah, y'all don't want to miss that. That's going to be good. We got a whole lot to say about that.
But once again, like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We got a very good game on tonight. Lakers, Denver,
go Vanderbilt. Let's go. Yes.
Going back to Cali.
Cali.
Hey, listen, please, we appreciate all the love that we're receiving. Rod, thanks for joining me, man. Awesome show. Bro. We got it out of the way early Saturday morning, so everybody can be locked in for the Lakers game. You can go out and enjoy yourself, barbecue, do whatever you're going to do. Until next time, peace.